What if I told you that everything you've ever wanted, the wealth, the freedom, the clarity, the power, isn't found in a place, a person, or a promise? It's found in the one place you've been avoiding, firmly, your own mind. The world will tell you that success comes from the outside, that it's locked inside bank vaults, job titles, or luck. But that's not the truth. Because if it were, why do so many with opportunity stay stuck, while others who start with nothing rise? Napoleon Hill spent a lifetime studying the minds of the world's most successful, and he uncovered something that shattered all conventional belief. Success is not given, it's summoned from within. The richest men in history were not born rich, they were born hungry. Hungry enough to master the one force that controls all others, the power of thought. You don't become a millionaire by accident, you become one by decision, not by wishing, but by willing, not by reacting, but by creating, not by waiting for the world to change, but by becoming the kind of person who changes the world. So ask yourself, have you been living from memory or from vision, from fear or from fire? Because here's the truth, the mind is not a mirror, it's a magnet. It doesn't reflect reality, it attracts it. And every thought you think is a vote for the life you will live. You can keep waiting for permission, or you can realize you are the permission. Most people are trapped in silent slavery. They wake up every day, not by choice, but by program. Their mind is on autopilot, replaying the same patterns, same doubts, same limitations. They've been hypnotized by mediocrity, and they don't even know it. But you wouldn't be here if something inside you wasn't already stirring, already waking up, already asking, is this all there is? And no, it's not. There's a law, not man-made, but soul-written. It says you will never rise higher than the image you hold of yourself. You want wealth? Upgrade the image. You want power? Change the blueprint. You want to be unstoppable? Then stop believing the story that tells you you're not. Napoleon Hill didn't write fairy tales. He wrote formulas, and they all begin in the same place, definite purpose. Not vague hopes, not scattered goals, but a clear, burning obsession. A vision so vivid that it refuses to leave your mind. It haunts you, fuels you, and moves you, even when nothing else does. Do you have that? Do you have something that burns so deeply inside of you that you'd rather fail chasing it than succeed settling without it? Because that's where greatness begins. Not in perfect plans, but in powerful decisions. Hill called it a definite chief aim. And it's not just about money, it's about mission, about who you must become to live a life that echoes beyond your time here. Let me tell you something. You will not stumble into your destiny. You must step into it intentionally, relentlessly, repeatedly, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts, because pain is not punishment, it's preparation. Every rejection is redirection. Every failure is feedback. Every delay is development. Most people pray for a life of ease, but ease has never made anyone extraordinary. You were not built for comfort. You were built for conquest. And inside you is a mind powerful enough to turn ideas into empires, but only if you decide that now is the time to claim it. This is where it all starts. You must think like the person you want to become before the world sees you that way. Because the world does not believe what you say. It believes what you show. And if you show hesitation, fear, doubt, it reflects that back to you. But if you walk in alignment with your back straight and your vision clear, if you act as though the goal is already yours, you trigger a chain reaction in the universe that cannot be undone. But hear this clearly, desire alone is not enough. Wishing, hoping, dreaming, they are weak currencies. What you need is a desire so fierce it becomes a demand on yourself, a demand on your time, a demand on your potential. You don't try, you train. You don't wish, you work. You don't wait, you wake up. Napoleon Hill wrote, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." But most people never get past the first step. They conceive, but they do not believe. They imagine, but they do not expect. Why? Because belief requires effort. Belief requires repetition. Belief requires faith. And faith, true faith, is not passive. It is aggressive alignment with your future. It is choosing to act like the outcome is inevitable, even when the evidence is invisible. Let that settle in. Faith is acting with certainty in the absence of proof. It's walking into rooms you don't feel qualified for, pitching ideas that scare you, chasing dreams that feel bigger than your credentials, and doing it anyway. Because deep down, you've remembered something the world made you forget. You were not born to be realistic. You were born to be revolutionary. So yes, the world will try to pull you back into logic, back into limitation, back into what's safe. But logic never built a legacy, and fear has never paid dividends. What builds your future is this: a mind on fire, a soul on mission, and a daily decision to show up as the person who no longer needs proof because you've already decided the result. You don't wait to feel ready. You act as if the readiness already lives in you. You speak in alignment. You walk in alignment. You think in alignment. And slowly, then suddenly, your reality bends to fit the image you held in your mind all along. Because that's the truth. Your life is catching up to your mind. And if your mind is stuck in fear, confusion, and lack, that's exactly what will manifest. But if your mind is fed with focus, conviction, and clarity, nothing can stop what comes next. You've been taught to look outside for the answers, to chase books, courses, mentors, hoping someone else will hand you your future. But the truth is, the greatest mentor you'll ever find is already inside you. It's the voice you've silenced for years. The one that whispers, "You were meant for more." That voice is not fantasy. It is your true self, and it is dying to be heard. Napoleon Hill called it infinite intelligence, a source of wisdom that doesn't scream, it whispers. And those who listen, those who trust, those who act, they rise. Because this isn't about just building wealth. It's about becoming the kind of person who commands it. It's about character, courage, and the unshakable conviction that your life is meant to make a difference. Every day, people wake up and sell their soul for safety. You see, excuses feel safe, but they cost you everything. You don't get to keep your limitations in your dream. You must choose. Because every time you say, I can't, your subconscious says, as you wish. The world responds to who you decide to be. So if you want to change the outcome, stop trying to fix the symptoms, rewire the source, your identity. Because identity is the thermostat of achievement. You will never outperform the image you hold of yourself. You might get glimpses, moments of momentum, but you will always return to what you believe you deserve. That's why the millionaires of mindset don't just think differently, they see themselves differently. They don't say, I want to be rich. They say, I am a creator of wealth. They don't say, I hope I succeed. They say, I succeed because I've decided I will. They don't wish for change, they become it. So the question is, who are you becoming? Not on your best day, but on your darkest, because character isn't proven in the spotlight, it's revealed in the shadows. When the money's not there, when the motivation is gone, when the applause fades and it's just you and the voice in your head, that's when champions are made. And in that moment, you have a choice. Fold or forge. Hide or hunt. Retreat or rise. You are not here to blend in. You are here to build, to break patterns, to burn the script, to become the first in your bloodline who decided enough is enough. But listen, transformation is not an event. It's a war against everything you've believed about what's possible for you. It's the daily fight to stay faithful when nothing around you looks different. It's the mental muscle of saying yes to vision and no to distractions. It's killing procrastination before it kills your potential. And it begins with dominion over your mind. That's why Hill taught that autosuggestion is the most powerful tool you possess. Not positive thinking, commanded thinking. Targeted, repeated, emotional, directed. Because the mind doesn't respond to facts. It responds to faith. And faith is built through repetition. Every time you affirm who you are, every time you visualize the result, every time you act in alignment, you're planting seeds in the soil of your subconscious. And what you plant, you will harvest. You can't speak like a victim and rise like a victor. You can't imagine defeat and expect destiny. You can't keep feeding your mind junk and expect it to build a palace. If you want to build an empire, the architecture starts in your head. So speak like the millionaire you're becoming. Think like the leader you already are. Move like the legend that's been waiting to emerge. Because it's not about being perfect, it's about being aligned. Alignment creates acceleration. When your thoughts, emotions, words, and actions are all pointed in the same direction, you become magnetic to people, to ideas, to money, to miracles. But misalignment creates resistance, doubt, delay, distraction. So clean your energy, audit your language, and refuse to tolerate thoughts that don't serve the vision. Because every thought you allow is a brick, and brick by brick you're either building a prison or a palace. Which will it be? Let's be clear. You are not born to live paycheck to paycheck. You are not designed to shrink, to settle, or to suffer. That's not divine, that's programming. And the beautiful truth, programs can be rewritten. The moment you realize that, you become dangerous to the lies, to the doubts, to the generational patterns that were never yours to carry, because you remembered something powerful. Your mind is not a cage. It is a canvas. And today, you can paint something new. So if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. If you've been waiting for the green light, here it is. If you've been hoping someone would believe in you, let this voice be the echo of your own greatness. You are not late. You are not lost. You are exactly where the next version of you is born. Let it happen. Decide. Declare. Discipline your mind and become the kind of person who no longer begs for success, but commands it through who you are. The greatest secret of all, it was never about the money. It was never about the car. It was never about the recognition. It was always about becoming the kind of person who could not be denied. And now that you've seen the truth, you can never go back to who you were. You don't just wake up one day with power. You build it, brick by invisible brick. Every decision, every disciplined morning, every time you show up when it would have been easier to quit. Power is not loud, it's earned in silence, in the moments no one sees, in the thoughts no one hears, in the battles you fight within your own mind, and win. That's why most people don't make it, because they wait to feel worthy. They wait for proof. They wait for guarantees. But the truth is this, you will never feel ready to become who you were born to be, because that version of you doesn't exist yet. You have to build them, one decision at a time. Hill taught us that success is never accidental. It's deliberate. It's intentional. It's demanded by those who are no longer willing to settle for a fraction of their potential. So if you're still looking for how, stop. The how appears when the who is clear. When you decide who you are, the world aligns to match it. You were not put here to chase, but to attract, to walk in such certainty, such alignment, such deep inner congruence, that what you want starts finding you. Because wealth is not a number, it's a frequency. And when you rise to match it, not just in thought, but in emotion, in speech, in action, you become a magnet. Hill called it the law of attraction, but not as a fantasy. He described it as a mental law, like gravity. The subconscious mind, once programmed, becomes a broadcasting station, sending out signals, pulling in results. And your signal is not what you hope, it's what you believe. So, what have you been broadcasting? Are you emitting fear, doubt, delay, or clarity, confidence, courage? Because your outer world is a direct reflection of your dominant inner vibration. You can't fake frequency. You either align with it or you repel it. So here's the uncomfortable truth. If your life is small, it's because your belief is small. Not your potential, never your potential, but your permission. Most people don't fail from lack of talent. They fail because they've never given themselves permission to win. They keep asking the world, am I good enough yet? Do I deserve this? Will they approve of me? But the game changes the moment you stop asking and start declaring, this is who I am. This is what I create, and I will not apologize for my greatness. That's not arrogance, that's alignment. When Hill studied the most powerful minds of his time, he found the shared trait. They didn't shrink to make others comfortable. They rose and brought others with them. Because true leaders don't compete, they create. They don't beg, they build. And they don't wait, they walk. So stop hiding behind your history. It does not define you. Stop disqualifying yourself because of what you weren't taught, what you didn't have, who didn't believe in you. That wasn't the end of your story. It was just the setup for your next evolution. You see, the mind that builds millions doesn't ask, is this possible for me? It says, how soon can I align myself so deeply that the result becomes inevitable? It doesn't shrink in doubt. It expands in decision. Because decision is the doorway to destiny. And indecision, it's the silent killer of potential. It's the gap where dreams go to die. It's the place where fire fades and mediocrity creeps in. Hill said it plainly. Successful people make decisions quickly and change them slowly. Failures make decisions slowly and change them often, if at all. You want wealth? Decide. You want freedom? Decide. You want to become the most powerful version of you? Decide. Because until you do, the universe is on standby. But once you move, the world moves with you. Let's talk about fear, because it's not real. Yes, you feel it, but it's not truth. It's just energy misdirected. You've been trained to fear risk, but the greatest risk is a life unlived. The greatest loss is not money, it's momentum. And the greatest tragedy is not failure, it's never discovering what you are actually capable of. What if your fear isn't a warning, but a signpost? a compass pointing to your next level, a signal that you're on the edge of growth, because fear is the border between your current identity and the next version of you. Cross it, not recklessly, but relentlessly. Your future is not waiting for someday. It's demanding that you show up today. And if you're still doubting, good. That means you're close. Doubt is a sign you're stepping into territory that your past has never entered. And that's where miracles happen. Your comfort zone is not your home. It's a cage. And every time you choose comfort over calling, the cage gets tighter. But when you choose growth, even when it's hard, even when it's messy, you unlock a power in you that's been dormant for far too long. You start walking different, talking different, thinking different, and suddenly what felt impossible last year is just your standard now. That's the power of a shifted mind. Because once the mind expands, it can never go back to its old dimensions. And you're expanding right now, whether you feel it or not. The old version of you is cracking. The lies are falling off, the limits are losing grip, and all that's left is the raw material of who you really are. Unshaken, unbent, unstoppable. But hear me, this is not where you stop. This is where you rise. So rise. Rise like the world is watching. Rise like your ancestors are praying. Rise like your future is depending on you, because it is. Rise not with arrogance, but with authority. The kind that doesn't yell, it radiates. The kind that doesn't ask, it acts. The kind that doesn't wait for a sign, it becomes the signal. This is your time. This is your decision. This is your becoming. There is a line, invisible to most, but sacred to those who sense it. A line between who you've been and who you could still become. A line between the life that's familiar and the one that's fully yours. Not rented, not borrowed, not watered down. Yours. And you are standing on it right now. But most will never cross. Not because they're weak, but because they're addicted. Addicted to old thoughts, old emotions, old identities that whisper, stay here. It's safe. At least you know this. But listen carefully. Familiarity is not safety. It's a slow death. And comfort zones, they don't protect you. They prevent you. Prevent you from discovering what's possible when you walk in power. Prevent you from activating the levels of creativity, leadership, wealth, influence, and impact that are coded deep in your DNA. Yes, you are coded for greatness. It's not a fantasy. It's a blueprint buried beneath years of noise. And your job, starting now, is to excavate it, to uncover the strength you forgot, to unlock the intelligence you ignored, to unlearn the limits you never chose. Napoleon Hill revealed the formula. He spent decades decoding the elite, and the truth he uncovered is this: greatness is not reserved. It is revealed to those bold enough to claim it. So let this be the moment you claim it. You've heard the voice. You've felt the fire. Now comes the phase that separates the few from the many, the embodiment. Not inspiration, not temporary motivation, but embodiment, living the truth you've learned, breathing it, becoming it. Because the mind that builds millions doesn't just think big, it lives big. It no longer tolerates average. It no longer waits for signs. It no longer tiptoes through life hoping not to offend. It walks with purpose. It speaks with certainty. It dares with clarity. You were not made to dim your light for others, to feel okay. You were not designed to play small because your power makes people nervous. Let them be nervous. Let them wonder how. Let them whisper. Because soon they'll watch. They'll watch as you rise. They'll watch as you lead. They'll watch as you build a very future they said was unrealistic, and they'll realize it wasn't magic, it wasn't luck. It was a mind made clear, a spirit made strong, and a decision made daily. This is the power of discipline, not punishment but alignment, not perfection but pursuit, every day doing what must be done until what once felt impossible becomes non-negotiable. That's the millionaire mindset. It's not obsessed with results. It's committed to process. It knows success is a symptom, and the root is who you become every time you choose growth over comfort. So let's talk about environment, because even a seed of greatness won't grow in toxic soil. If you stay surrounded by people who think small, doubt often, and fear change, your dreams will die by association, not by failure, but by starvation. The mind that builds millions guards its surroundings like gold. It cultivates space, it builds altars of focus, and it surrounds itself with builders. People who speak vision, who stretch thinking, who sharpen belief. This is your circle, your mastermind. As Hill revealed, when two or more minds align around the common purpose, a third invisible force is born, a mind greater than the individuals combined. This is not theory, it's energetic law. So look around, audit your tribe. If they don't speak life into your future, create a new circle. Because you don't rise by chance, you rise by choice. And your circle will either elevate or eliminate your destiny. Let's go deeper. You want transformation? There's one more layer, the subconscious, the part of your mind that never sleeps, the one running the scripts behind the curtain. It doesn't speak English. It speaks repetition, emotion, certainty, and it doesn't care if what you feed it is true, only that you feed it often. So if you keep repeating, I'm stuck, I don't know how, I'm not ready, guess what? Your subconscious says, got it, let me build that reality for you. But if you declare with conviction, I create wealth, I lead, I overcome, I attract, I rise, it says, copy that, we're on our way. You are the programmer. You are the architect. You are the one who decides whether your life becomes a prison or a platform. But the code is simple. What you say, what you feel, what you do on repeat. Write your affirmations, read your vision, feel your future before it arrives, and watch your external world rise to meet your internal one, because that's how it works. Not once, not sometimes, but always. Reality is the echo of identity. And now that you've remembered who you really are, it's time to live like it. Let this be the last day you doubt. Let this be the last moment you play small. Let this be the rebirth of your fire, the reactivation of your calling. You are no longer available for mediocrity. You are no longer subscribed to fear. You are no longer interested in playing by the rules written by people who gave up on their own dreams. You have stepped into something higher, not because it was handed to you, but because you finally claimed what was already yours. The mind that builds millions isn't louder, it's clearer. It doesn't beg, it becomes. It doesn't wait, it wakes up. It doesn't just think, it moves. So move with courage, with discipline, with bold, relentless faith. And when doubt knocks again, because it will, you won't run. You'll smile and remind yourself, I've already decided who I am, and nothing will move me. Because at the end of it all, money may come and go, fame may fade, even plans may shift. But the one thing that remains, the mind you built. And that is untouchable.
If this message touched something in you, even just a little, help us share this frequency, subscribe to our channel, and send this video to someone who matters to you, because no one awakens alone. And the light you found here might be the light someone else has been waiting for. you.